Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Rita, for those of you who do not know, and yeah, this is Nshuti Creations UG, where we show you sewing tutorials and sewing tutorials, DIYs, tips and tricks on how to sew and how to like fashion hacks. And then once in a while I share with you some parts of my life, which is through vlogs. So yeah, so today we are going to learn to do this. Today is the part 2 of joining the top that we are making for my previous video, where I'll show you how to join a bustier top with bra cups and boning. So this is how it turned out. I don't know if you can see. It's for a big busted person, big bodied person. It's like this. It's like a bustier corset with this design, this beautiful design. And then the sleeves are like this. They're off shoulder. It's an off shoulder sleeve. So, and this is the back. So today I'm just showing you the joining bits, joining the bra cups and the boning. That's the footage I still have. Unfortunately, part of the footage was lost through recording. I think my camera ran out of space and it did not notify me, so it erased even the little bits that had been recorded. So the only parts that I have are the parts joining the boning and the bra cup. But now the rest of joining the lining and then these strings and making the sleeves, I do not have that. But those ones are the simpler things actually. So the difficult ones are the ones that I have on video. So stay tuned, don't go away. This video is still helpful. You're still going to learn. Because yeah, I still have the footage of the hard parts, which is the bra cups and the boning. How I did that, please stay tuned to watch that. And then yeah, don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to subscribe. Guys, we are growing. The channel is growing. Thanks to all of you who have subscribed. Thanks to all of you who are liking my videos. Thanks to all of you who are actually watching. I really do appreciate. Much love from this side. I love you guys, because you're the ones who keep me going. This content creation thing is not easy. When I lost the footage, I got frustrated. I nearly deleted this too, but then I was like, no, but this is still helpful, let me share this. And yeah, so don't go away. Yeah, so let's get into it. So this is the fabric. I already joined those strings where the string will be passing. This is just a part I'm showing you, but I'm going to show you how I did that. And it's already ironed on to the stiff fabric or stiff paper. So yeah, one side of the panel is joined. Now this is the other side that I'm going to join. The way you've seen me placing them is the way I'm going to stitch it. And then after that, I'll be adding my bra cups. Those are the bra cups I'll be using. Here I'm just showing you what I'm going to be doing. So I'll be joining those bra cups. I'll also be joining the boning. The boning will go under the bra cups, straight up to down. So yeah, this is boning you can actually use, you can stitch on. So this is how I'm going to be joining. You see how that side, that join side already created like a curve for the bra cup to sit. Now this is the other side that I'm going to join. These are all parts of the front panel. So I'm first putting those I don't know, like loopholes, you can call them loopholes or loops. Yeah, loops where the string is going to be passing. So I'm pinning them down in place. Then after that's when I'll add on the other part of the panel. So here I'm just placing them aligned together with the ones that I've already attached. So I pinned the first one and the last one at the bottom, the top one and the bottom one. Now I'm going to pin the middle one so that I can get equal side for both, equal space left in between. Yeah, so after doing that, now I'm adding the other side of the bustier top. So I'm going to go around stitching like that, like I've shown you with my finger. So this is it fully stitched. And then after stitching, I also press down those seams with a flat iron. I iron the seams down. So now you can see our top is actually already coming together. So now I'm also showing you how I attach the side of the one side with boning and the bra cup. So this is what I did for that side. I cut out my boning to fit the size and then stitched it down first. And when you're stitching, you put the boning under. I decided to put the boning under the way you see me doing. So that's how I put my boning, because it is going to go first before the bra cup. So now this is me stitching my boning. First of all, I use masking tape to cover those the edge, because they're a bit sharp and they can cut through. So instead of cutting through the client's dress or something, I decided to put masking tape on the edges so they don't cut through the fabric or pierce the client. So yeah, now I put them under and then place the fabric on top. You have to do this on top. If you've watched any of my videos where I'm making, like I'm stitching a waistband for shorts or skirts, I normally use a ditch stitch at the top. So yeah, even here we're going to use a ditch stitch. A ditch stitch is, for those of you who don't know, it's where you stitch right on the line of the seam, like right on the seam line. So it looks like that the stitch is actually on the, like it's already on the inside, or it's attached to the seam. You get? So the stitch is not like a top stitch where you actually get to see it, no. For it, it's in the seam line where the other thread is already existing. That's where you stitch, so that you hide it in there. So that's what I decided to do. I decided to use a ditch stitch. So, but you have to be extremely careful. This thing is really, really tricky. Yeah, so you have to be extremely careful. Keep checking under and make sure you're not the boning is still in place, because it tends to move. Like when you're stitching, because of the pressure, it tends to move. So find a way, figure it out, and yeah, with your hands, and make sure you're stitching it under. You can feel it's still in the line, and then you're using your ditch stitch on top of the fabric. So yeah, keep checking under to make sure it's still in line. It does not shift, because it's I think, I don't know what material that is, but it's close to plastic, so it keeps shifting on the machine. But when you keep checking, yeah, you can keep putting it in place. So go up to the end of your stitch and don't forget to back stitch, yeah, both at the top and at the bottom, otherwise it will come out. So back stitch, and then after now we are going to secure it in place completely. And the way that I do it to secure it is I go again, I fold the seam the way you see, and then because one side of the boning is still like out, like on the side of the seam, I stitch that down too so that it is in place. Yeah, so that's how I do it to make sure it is in place. I stitch it on the seam, but now this is on the inside, so the stitch is not seen on the top. It's like you can call it an understitch. You know how you're doing like a top stitch of like top stitch on lining? Yes, so now we are doing a top stitch of boning on the seam. I hope you get what I'm saying. Like if you've been stitching, you actually understand, unless you've never stitched before. But if you've used the top stitch before for lining, yeah, I'm sure you know what I mean just by saying it. So now this is the bra curve where the bra cup will sit. Yeah, so now I'm going to place my my bra cup there. Just align it. Don't forget to mark it. Mark the center so that you can easily align it from the top to the bottom where it will sit, and then pin. Pinning is very important, guys, because if you do not pin, things are going to shift and you're going to stitch things that you do not understand. So you need to pin, whether you like it or not. If the pins bend, it is okay, get others, but you need to pin it down. So for this one, I'm choosing to pin just the top and the bottom of the bra cup, and that's the only part I'm going to stitch of the bra cup, because my fabric, the fabric I'm using is really soft. Like it is very, very soft fabric. So if I do like a stitch around the bra cup, around the base of the bra cup, it might not look as good. Such a stitch would look really good on fabrics like velvet, like cotton, yeah, those linen, satin. But now this one is extremely soft, so I decided not to. So I'm only stitching where it is pinned, where I pin the fabric, where I pin the bra cup to the fabric. So, and even the stitch I'm making, still I'm using a ditch stitch, and I'm making it, yeah, I'm using a ditch stitch, and I'm making something small. It's like a back and forth, like a back stitch. Yeah, if you're into sewing, I'm sure you know all the terms I'm using, because here it might not be very visible, but you get what I mean if you know the terms. So yeah, I just just keep going back and forth with my stitch, and then stitch the lower part, and then also stitch the top part. But I'm using a ditch stitch. That is why I'm stitching it from the right side of the fabric, so that it doesn't look tacky at the top, like on top of the fabric. So yeah, that's why I'm making sure that I'm stitching while the fabric faces me. Yeah. Alright guys, if you've made it this far in the video, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share. Also hit that notification bell to be notified whenever I post a new video. And if you've watched this one but you haven't watched the part 1, please go back and watch the part 1 where I actually show you how to draft this bustier top, where all the measurements are. And trust me, it is the easiest method to draft. If you have a problem with pattern drafting, just stay tuned, because I'm going to be helping you to pattern draft easily. Like beginner friendly. Those of you who do not want things that take so long, too much mathematics, things that just confuse your brain, yeah, just subscribe and hit the notification bell. So I'll be giving you those very easy tutorials, because I personally don't like things that take so long, things that complicate my brain. No, so I always venture out to get you guys the easiest and also do it for myself. So you see those black lines, those are my stitches. They're that small. Yeah, I don't want to do something too serious. So yeah, that's enough to hold the bracket down. So now I'm going to add boning also on the back panels. This is one of the back panels, so I'm going to add the boning there, but still it's going to be under here. I was just measuring it out for you guys to see. I always put my boning at least half an inch above the edge line or the hemline. You get above the hemline. I always make sure my boning is half an inch below or half an inch above the hemline. Don't forget to put your masking tape around it still, like the way you see me do, or sellotape, whatever you have. So yeah, and then again go underneath, because with this type of boning I'm not making a casing. Sometimes we make casings for the boning, but this time, since I am stitching it on, I decided to do it under the fabric. And then make sure again you use a ditch stitch. I already explained what a ditch stitch is for those of you who do not know. So I'm also going to use a ditch stitch, and yeah, go down and stitch all through from the top to the bottom, and then I repeat this for the other side panel, for the back panel also. Remember, when you're cutting, if you watch the first video, you know I have two parts for the back panel and then 3 parts for the front panel. The 3 parts for the front panel have already been joined, plus the boning and the bracket. Now I'm joining on the 2 parts, the boning on the 2 parts of the back panel. So this is the first part, and then I think I joined the second part off camera. So yeah, the whole top is going to have boning. And guys, remember, boning is not added on lining. No, it is not. It is added on fabric only. You do not need to do double boning. There is no reason for that at this point. So yeah, this is just me going through. And remember when I told you my fabric was really light and soft? Even when I tried ironing it on the stiff paper, part of it is coming out. Now you see, like this edge, it's coming off because it can't really be glued down fully. So yeah, as you can see, that is how it looks like. The boning is at the bottom where my dart is. Actually, where the dart is, where the back dart is where I put the boning. So now I'm joining the linings together, and I'm also going to do this for the front panels. Here I'm joining the sides of the lining. I normally like to start at the bottom if I'm joining sides of fabric. I like to start at the bottom, especially with corsets, because of the curve at the top, like at the bust area. When you start from down, it gives you an even top, but then when you start from the top, the curve tends to make the fabric change, so it becomes uneven. So here I'm just joining the sides, and I'm leaving 1 inch. Remember, we added 2-inch allowance for the sides. So here I'm just adding 1 inch to the sides, as you can see. And that's what I was marking earlier, and I'm still going to do it for both, for this other side too, and also the 2 sides of the main fabric. So still I have to mark my 1 inch, align your top, make sure it fits perfectly, then mark your 1 inch and then stitch all through. The only difference I made is at the bottom, which is the upper bust line, or you can call it the upper chest line. There I went in by 2 inches. Yeah, so for it, it's slightly bigger than the lower part. The lower part is 1 inch. I went in by 1 inch, 1 inch, but then at the upper bust line I went in by 2 inches to get that nice straight line, and so that that top can be fully like can really hold the person's body tight. So yeah, and remember also the upper bust line is slightly smaller than the bust line, or the chest line is smaller than the bust line. Where your armpit passes, it's smaller. When you get the round circumference, it's smaller. So that's why for it I went in by 2 inches. So now this is our front panel, and like I said, I'm joining the sides, so I'm doing the same. Whatever I did on the lining is what I'm going to do on the main fabric. So the straight side, yeah, that straight side is the where the zipper will go. So here I'm just aligning everything together, and then after go in with my stitches. First measure, of course, the 1 inch. Guys, if possible, mark your pieces. I tend to forget to mark my pieces, and it gives me a hard time when I'm stitching. It gives me a hard time to know which is which one is the front, which one is the back, and which one goes on the left and which one goes on the right. So marking them like in numbers 1, 2, 3, all left and right can really help. And then also mark the top and the bottom, because sometimes they tend to also look alike. So yeah, I'm marking my 1 inch again, and then the 2 inches, and then measure, and then go and stitch through as seen. And I'm repeating that for the other side too. Yeah, so as you can see, so that big excess is the 2 inches. Yeah, so that's how, and I'm going to repeat that for the other side, and then also cut off that excess. I have to cut off that excess fabric too. And just repeat that. I'm just repeating it for the other side too. And then I have to cut off the excess fabric. Then yeah, after joining that, I will go in by next I'll be adding my zipper. Yeah, next I'll be adding my zipper. So that's my 2 inches up and then 1 inch down. So that's my straight line, and I'm going to follow that going down. Guys, corsets tend to be difficult when you're joining, because now there are added backups, there is boning, there is a lot going on. They tend to disturb, but at the end of the day, what keeps me going is how they turn out and the customer's reaction. I just love how customers love their corsets when I'm done making them, when they fit the person perfectly. Yeah, that's the best. And if you have your client nearby, you can go ahead and call them in for a fitting at this stage even, and yeah, let them try on and you see and make sure everything is intact. But me, my client is not nearby, and then like I told you, I didn't get some of the measurements, so I'm hoping by God's grace what I did, whatever I got and what I'm using is enough. So yeah, Now I'm just placing my lining. I'm just showing you where the lining is going to go, and I'll start with the top part, which is the chest line, and I'll go around pinning, aligning the dots together, the dots of the lining with the dots of the fabric, the main fabric. I'll align all the panels together and make sure they fit and they align together, and then stitch around that. And then here, let me just explain, because I lost now the next footage. So after doing that, stitch and then do a stitch around the top and also stitch the bottom. No, but before you stitch the bottom, stitch the top part first, the lining right side facing the right side of the main fabric, the way you see me joining and pinning. Yeah, you're going to stitch all that down, and then all the curved areas you're going to notch, go on notching, and then after that do a top stitch on the lining itself, so that when you fold the lining in, it aligns very well. It sits very well on the inside and it doesn't come out. Stitch it on the same line, and then after that you're going to stitch the lower part, the hemline also, while still wrong side facing wrong side. Then and when you do that, you would have put your zipper. I'm just telling you this because I no longer have footage of that. I explained in my intro video. So here I'm showing you how to attach your zipper. Go in by the inches you said. Me, I said 1.5 inches. I marked 1.5 inches, so that's why I pinned, and now I'm going in on the inside while still on the inside. So I'll just turn it over, and then when you're putting your zipper, one other thing to note is place it at least half an inch above your hemline. Place it half an inch above your hemline. The way you see, it's above the hemline. Yeah. So then you'll just turn it over and do a top stitch, but I'll do the top stitch after I turn everything on the inside out. Yeah. So now I'm removing the other side of the zipper, and I'm going to place it on the other side of the fabric, and then stitch it down too from the inside still. And then after that's when I'll join my lining, like I explained just shortly before. And then after joining my lining, I'll join the lining both to the top part and the hemline. After doing that, I will open. Remember this side of the zipper is open, so it's what I will use to turn everything from inside to the outside. So after turning that, that's when I will reduce first of all cut off the excess of the zipper, because my zipper is very long, as you can see. And then after that, I will top stitch the zipper, and we are done with our top. Then the rest is I'll put my string. Yeah, I will put my string, the string that I had talked about, and then put on the sleeves. The sleeves are very easy to make. I just got bigger sleeves and then attached elastic to them, and then attached them on the armpits of the top, on the armhole of the top, and I was done. So yeah, it's that simple. If you think it is simple or it's that difficult, but it's not complicated, it's doable. All right guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for my next video, and let me attach a photo of how it actually looks like, the finished product looks like. Then you can see how good it turned out. All right guys, thanks, bye.